All right, everybody, shalom and welcome. Yishai Fleischer broadcasting live from Judea. Shalom. There is a lot to talk about this incredible news conference that Prime Minister Netanyahu just held. Really a tour de force and historic. So we're going to be talking about this incredible news conference in just a minute. In the meantime, let's start up the show. Wait for everybody to come on in, because we're welcoming here. So let us get everybody into the show, and let's start by having everybody just say where you're from and send us your blessings so we know where you're from. And that's the way we like to start the show and get the energy going, because there's a lot to cover here. So let's do it together, and let's hear where you're from and send me your blessings, and we'll start the show. As Aaron Benzev writes, Shalom from Greece. Shalom, Aaron Benzev. What are you doing in Greece? All right. And we have folks from New Hampshire. I don't know how to pronounce that first word. UK, unfortunately. Oh, no. What does UK even stand for these days? What is it? It should be like the AK, the Arab Kingdom. Shalom, I'm from Oklahoma. Shalom to you, sir. And shalom to U.S. Army retired here. Great press conference. That's right. We're going to cover that in just a minute. We're going to cover this very important press conference. We got Dallas. We got. I don't know what that is. I guess it's California that's become communist. Okay. We got from Texas and Vancouver and Winchester, Kentucky. And we got San Diego and Namibia. All right. To Namibia. And Alaska, God bless. Shalom. And good folks from London and from Saturn, which is not so close, but thank you very much. Shalom from New Jersey. Shalom to you. And shalom to Cape Town, South Africa. That's right. And Finland. Let me say a blessing. I also want to say shalom and thank you to Yo, my producer. And I want to thank David, who's helped us get ready for the show. I want to thank God Almighty for giving me the strength to even contemplate a show here on Thursday night from the land of Israel. And I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu, who really took it to the next level. And we're going to be talking about that in just a minute as we say shalom to everybody here. And I'm feeling the energy from India, from our allies in India, and Mojave, California, Mojave Desert, and Missouri. Okay, I'm feeling it. And Plymouth, UK, awesome. Okay, all right. I'm feeling the good energy from you guys out there. And there's folks from Denmark I see, and from London, Stamford Hill. And I'm seeing the energy of people all over the world who want to get a little Thursday night energy from the land of Israel. And if you're out there and it's still daylight, wherever you are, if it's still daylight where you are, then that means today is a very special holiday. And before we get to the news conference, before we get to the very important news conference, I want to say that today, if it's still daylight where you are, shalom to Kurdistan, shalom, and I want to visit Kurdistan soon. A good friend of mine was just there. And shalom to Köln. I've been to Köln, Germany. That's right. Very good. Thank you. I want to say, if it's still sunny where you are right now, then you are still in the midst of a very special holiday, which is the new month of Nissan. Today, my friends, and especially I want to tell this to my Gentile friends who might not know this, today is the type of minor holiday. It's the new month of Nissan. Today is the day that the tabernacle stood erect for the first time, fully activated after 8 days of preparation. And on this day, it was when the fire of God consumed for the first time, the korbanot, the offerings. And it was also on this day that the priests made their first priestly blessings in biblical history. And the reason that's important is because today is the day of revelation, God's presence in this world. That's what this day is about. So I want to wish everybody a Chodesh Tov. And I want to see everybody here that's on the chat write to me, Chodesh Tov, Chodesh, Chodesh Tov. a happy new month and the month of revelation. And today is a kind of, I would say, in one way, today's actually the new year, because this is considered the new year for the Jewish people. We have kind of two new years, but it's also the very last holiday of the last year, which is that throughout the whole year, we get to this point of finally getting to the preparation of seeing God's presence in this world, okay? So that is what today's about. So Chodesh Tov to all of you around the world. I'm blessing you. Thank you for writing to me in Hebrew as well. Toda Rabah. And I think we are just about ready to get going. Happy new month, you guys. May it be. Chodesh is the same letters as Chadash, which means new. And it's really Rosh Chodesh. It's the new head. It's the new mind that God gives us. God's revelation has given us a new mind and a new understanding. And that's perfectly fitting that we should, on this new moment, this new consciousness that God is bringing to this world, have an incredible news conference from the Prime Minister, in which I must say that this is, I have to say, in terms of speaking, I think this might be his pinnacle moment so far. And he's had many pinnacle moments, but there's something special about this news conference, and therefore I should have been resting tonight, but I had to get back on the live with you, with my producer, Yo, with the rest of our team in order to talk about this very important news conference that the Prime Minister, he too got out of bed. He too has been working very hard. Let's listen now together to Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, who has been for 25 years warning about this war with Iran. This is a prime minister who withstood presidents who are not so pro-Israel, right? President Obama and President Biden. And now Prime Minister Netanyahu is in a strength moment. And one of the main things, which is how we titled the show today, was this business that nobody dragged the USA into a war. They knew exactly what they were doing and why they were doing it. And certainly nobody dragged President Trump. Okay, with all that preamble, let's get to it. Here's Prime Minister Netanyahu, just streamed a press conference in English as well, first in Hebrew, and then the vast majority in English. So that goes to show you that he knew that this was what it was about. He wanted to make sure that all of you English speakers out there in the world, or people who understand English in any case, would understand these issues. So if the Prime Minister is going to work hard, then here at Yishai TV, we're going to work hard as well, Yishai.tv. In the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and super chat. You know, I'm going to play the Prime Minister. I'm not going to interrupt him too much, but super chats are welcome. And I'm going to respect your super chat. When you send blessings my way, I will send it to you as well. Is that good? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready for a Rosh Chadash? Are we ready for a new mind and a new head? God bless you. Thank you so much for being with me. Here is Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Welcome to the Foreign Press. First of all, I just want to say I'm alive, and you're all witnesses. And now that I dispatched this piece of fake news, I want to give you an update on Operation Roaring Lion.
Okay, this was actually, it seems like a joke, but it's not a joke, because we live in a world of social media, and one of the big memes that was sent out there was this meme that the Prime Minister Netanyahu, had been killed. You think this is a joke? There were tons of people, millions of people around the world that believe that. So just by standing there, okay, this is my phone's telling me that there's an emergency thing coming. It could be that there might be a siren. If a siren comes on, then I will walk out of the studio. I will let Prime Minister Netanyahu keep going. I'll go down to the bunker, the safe room, and return after that.
Yeah, and we'll be here. I'll be here with the folks,
That's right.
and
Very
everybody
good.
can make their comments, and we'll save their comments and start, and of course, the super chats. And thank
That's
you
right.
for the super. We have a super sticker here already,
That's right.
and then you'll come back.
Okay, very good. I'll let you know. Right now, it's a pre-warning, and it might turn into a warning. We had a big boom beforehand. Thank you very much, Soledad Nefesh. Toda rabah for your super chat, super sticker. Toda rabah. Thank you and bless you. We're sending you blessings from the land of blessings. All right, here we go. Let's get back to the prime minister, as he just let us know that he is alive. As he's alive, Am Yisrael is chai. Okay, so he's alive, and so are we. Let's keep going.
Under President Trump's visionary leadership, America and Israel are acting together in Iran with great determination and unprecedented strength. Operation Rising Lion is designed to remove the existential threats posed by the Ayatollah regime, the regime that has waged war against America and Israel and the people of Iran for 47 years. It chants death to America, death to Israel, and it delivers death to its own people. Our goals are three. One, removing the nuclear threat. Second, removing the ballistic missile threat, and removing both of these threats before they're buried deep underground and become immune from aerial attack. And third, this means creating the conditions for the Iranian people to grasp their freedom, to control their destiny.
Okay, so basically, Prime Minister Netanyahu listing three things: getting rid of the nuclear threat, getting rid of the ballistic missile threat, and allowing number three, the Iranian people to thrive and to be liberated and free. I would say that there is definitely one more, which is getting rid of the proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, and others. That is part of the war goals. And then number five, so I would say there are five war goals, right? One, getting rid of the nuclear threat. Two, getting rid of the missile threat. Three, regime change, giving the Iranians an opportunity to thrive. Four, getting rid of the proxies. And of course, number five, freedom of navigation for energy through the Straits of Hormuz. Those are all five real goals. He stipulated three, but there are really five goals in this war.
Today, the Ayatollah regime is not only attacking America, not only attacking Israel, not only attacking the Iranian people, it is attacking the entire Middle East and beyond. They've attacked civilians and American assets in Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman, and they've even attacked through their proxies Cyprus and Europe. We've warned for decades that their ballistic missile program would be used to attack these targets far and wide, and if they're not stopped, that's just the beginning. The death cult in Iran is trying to blackmail the world by closing a key international maritime route, the Straits of Hormuz. It won't work. Israel is helping in its own way, and intel and other means, the American effort to open the Straits of Hormuz, rather. But I want to ask you to imagine how the Ayatollah regime would be able to
Okay, so then he did mention the Straits of Hormuz as one of the war goals. They're saying that Israel has abilities. Who knows if Israel also has submarines there and there's other submarines. I just want to say in parentheses, probably, and I already thought this, and I already am hearing analysts saying it, this should have been prepared a little bit better beforehand. There should have been no closure of the Hormuz Straits. But as we had an analyst here, Eliyahu Yossian, he spoke about this. Very important to understand that putting warships in the Straits of Hormuz means coming into contact with the enemy. And maybe there was some reticence. Now it's clear that that's what has to be done. All right. And before we go on, somebody wrote, you're protected by the Most High. You're protected by the Most High God of Israel. Thank you very much, Solomon Eric. Thank you very much, because I want to say that with all the technological capabilities, the hand of God here is strong, and we're seeing it protecting the Jewish people, giving us the strength to use the weaponry and work together with the United States to fight this great and just battle. Thank you very much to your comment, and thank you to God. Let's keep going.
The entire world. If they had ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads, just imagine what they would do. Look at what they're doing now and imagine what they would do if they had ballistic missiles, international range ballistic missiles, and nuclear-tipped warheads. Just imagine what a great threat that would be. So today, Israel and the United States are...
I just want to stop and say I just heard a big boom outside my window. The mic here was I had it muted, but there was a big boom, and that means that the missile that was headed in our direction has been blown up and stopped. And just want you to know that that's what I just experienced.
protecting America, Israel, the entire Middle East, but I venture to say the entire world. Despite the fake news that is unfortunately being spread since the start of the war 20 days ago, we are winning and Iran is being decimated. Iran's missile and drone arsenal is being massively degraded and will be destroyed. Hundreds of their launchers have been destroyed, their stockpiles of missiles are being hit hard, and so are the industries that produce them. That's important. In Rising Line, we destroyed missiles and we destroyed a lot of the nuclear infrastructure. But what we're destroying now are the factories that produce the components to make these missiles and to make the nuclear weapons that they're trying to produce. We're wiping out their industrial base in a way that we didn't do before. Iran's air defenses have been rendered useless. Their navy is lying at the bottom of the sea. Today we hit the other part of their navy in the Caspian Sea. Their air force is nearly destroyed. Iran's command and control structure is in utter chaos. And I can tell you that there's still more work to do, and we're going to do it. And I want to close these opening remarks with one other fake news, and that is that Israel somehow dragged the U.S. into a conflict with Iran. Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on. President Trump always makes his decisions on what he thinks is good for America, and may I add, I think what is also good for future generations. In this case, those interests are absolutely clear, and so is the clarity of our achievements. Together in close coordination with President Trump, the close coordination between America and Israel, our militaries, our intelligence services, we're achieving goals in lightning speed. But I want to say another word. It's been said that for 40 years, I've been saying that Iran is a danger to Israel and a danger to the world. That is true. You know who else said that? President Trump. 47 years ago, when the Iranian thugs took over the American embassy, he said how dangerous this regime is. In his first term in office, he didn't need any convincing. He said the Iranian nuclear deal was the worst deal that he'd ever seen, and he walked out of it. Right before his second term, before he was reelected, I went to see him in Mar-a-Lago. The first thing he said to me was, "BIBI, we've got to make sure that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons." He said that to me. I didn't say it to him. He didn't need any convincing there either. Now, why did he say that? Because for more than 4 decades, this regime, as I said in the beginning of my remarks, is chanting, death to Israel, death to America. But they say Israel is only the small Satan standing in their way. The great Satan is the United States of America. And these ideological fanatics, these lunatics, define their raison d'etre, their reason for being, is wiping out Western civilization and America that leads it. They have claimed the lives, they've maimed and wounded thousands of Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan. They killed the American Marines in Beirut. They bombed your embassies. They tried to assassinate the American president, Donald Trump, not once, but twice. Now they blackmail for oil. Just imagine what they would do, what they're capable of doing, if these lunatics had nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to every American city and every European city. and everywhere around the globe. This is a danger for the entire world. It's certainly a danger for Israel. It's certainly a danger for America. We see eye to eye on that. President Trump and I, Israel and America. But I think if people are honest, if leaders are honest, they would understand that we're not only fighting our fight, we're fighting their fight. I speak to dozens of world leaders. Dozens. They all know that. And privately, they all say that. They say that privately, but I say it publicly. The world owes a debt of deep indebtedness to President Trump for leading this effort to safeguard our future.
Thank
Questions?
you.
Okay, before we get to the questions, you see that the press conference was certainly about the war aims, war goals, but he doesn't go into too much of the tactical analysis of the conflict itself. He's going into the justification for the war and answering the claims that somehow Israel dragged the U.S. into war as though it's our problem with the jihadis, and the only way we were going to solve it is with America behind us. And that is, of course, one of the claims that has been made by Tucker and now by a former Trump official, that somehow Israel is dragging the U.S. into war. And so this press conference is very much about, hey, I'm alive, and B, this has been in President Trump's heart for a very long time. Not to mention that President Trump wants to see more control of oil in his hands and not in the hands of bad guys. Not to mention that he thinks that weakening Iran is weakening China and Russia and the other competitors to America's hegemony and superpower status, and those who want to seek to undermine and destroy the West, who have no interests in the values of liberty and freedom. And we discussed this on a few of the previous shows, how important this war is. So here comes Prime Minister Netanyahu being like, listen, this is not like a little thing about me, somehow using AIPAC or something to drag America into the war. Forget all that. That's all hype. I'm alive. America's leading this war. It's a just war against a regime that itself is a evil octopus with many tentacles, and is also itself an arm of other entities that are very problematic and want to seek the undermining of the liberty regime that this world has had the great privilege of living under. And also, I think the prime minister is trying to say, like, the world owes a debt of gratitude to President Trump for fighting this fight. And I happen to feel this. I understand that. I feel it. I feel that is actually true. All right, here come the press and their questions, and we'll see some of them are harsh and some of them are friendly. Before we go on, I want to remind you that we need your help to continue to fight, to build the land of Israel and to beautify it. Please join me at buildisrael.com, where we believe that we can build Israel together. If you believe that we can build Israel together, then you and I are on the same team. Let's build Israel together. BuildIsraelTogether.com. BuildIsrael.com. Very simple, very beautiful name for a website, brand new and very meaningful. Thank you very much. And if you want to keep watching us, go to Yishai.tv, sign up for our emails. You can like, subscribe, comment on the YouTube and other platforms. Please be with us. Together, we're working to make God great again and to build Israel and to make it stronger, B'ezrat Hashem, with the help of God. So another great way to support the show is also buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. People love to use this site. It's fun. They leave a good message there. Buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. Toda Rabbah and blessings to you. All right, let's take questions from the press for Prime Minister Netanyahu.
We'll now take a few questions. The first question is from Zach Anders from Newsmax.
Mr. Prime Minister, Zach Anders, Newsmax.
Okay, the sound, when I was watching this live, there was a section that the sound cut out. So we will just keep playing it until the sound comes back in. It does it like twice. And we'll already get, I think we'll get partial answer here from the Newsmax question. Okay, Don't forget, folks, that part of what Israel is also doing is being the liberation nation, and it's here to fight the regime that wants to subjugate us, to subjugate all of us. We are all under the thumb of being subjugated. And this thing that they almost killed President Trump, that they sought to assassinate President Trump, is that like something small? It seems
Want
like
a transitional
massive
leader
to me.
that will have a transition. You don't want to replace one Ayatollah with another. You don't want to replace Hitler with Himmler. So I think the question is, will the conditions be created for such a change? I think it's too early to say. And I think in the final account, as I said, it's up to the Iranian people to show that, to choose the moment and to rise to the moment. We can create the conditions, but they have to, they have to explode those conditions at a certain point. It is often said that you can't do revolutions from the air. That is true. You can't do it only from the air. You can do a lot of things from the air, and we're doing, but there has to be a ground component as well. There are many possibilities for this ground component, and I take the liberty of not sharing with you all those possibilities.
Would you recognize Pahlavi if the people keep chanting for him in the streets?
Well, I'm not going to say who specifically is going to be there, but I think he's been a force for good. He's been trying to get the people to unite for a transitional government, a democratic transitional government, or a moderate transitional government. I hope that it comes to being. I think it's too early to say.
Next question from Richard Engel from NBC News.
Good to see you again.
All right, this question also cut out partially, and that was what happened in the live stream. I'm not sure if they were trying to cut out questions from the press or what, but anyway, they had some issues here, but don't worry, the sound is coming back in a minute. In the meantime, just before we go on and hear more of the sound, are you praying?
Well, I think we have concrete goals how to do.
Are you praying for strength of Israel? Are you praying for the strength of Prime Minister Netanyahu? Are you praying for President Trump? Are you praying for good leadership? Are you praying for those pilots? Praying for those soldiers? It's time to pray and give people strength. Are you praying for the people of Israel and the people, by the way, of all the countries, even countries that are not so friendly to Israel, from Qatar, but countries that are friendly to Israel, like the UAE and even Saudi Arabia, are under attack as well, and the people of Iran. There's a lot of prayers that need to be prayed. Okay, let's get back to the Prime Minister.
How to end it? We wanted, as I said, decimate the ballistic missile program, which we're doing. Decimate the nuclear program, which we're doing. I think that those are goals that are achievable, but I'm not going to put a schedule or a stopwatch on it. I think we have goals that have to be achieved, and we're not counting the days. But I will say this canard that we dragged the United States into it is not just a canard. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I think President Trump said it best, and I said it as well many times. There's always a danger in acting. But in conditions of existential threats, there's a much greater danger in not acting. What do you think would have happened if America did not act now? Just imagine what would have happened. In a few months' time, no more than a year, Khamenei, still alive, would have ordered the beginnings of the new nuclear program and the reconstructed ballistic missile program to move underground. Now, it'll take them a little time, maybe a few years, but you can't reach those programs. And they develop intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay? That means missiles that can hit Chicago and New York and Florida and Texas and California. Oh, but they don't have it yet. That's what people said. Right, let's wait. Well, just let them do it, Just wait and let them do it. You won't be able to do it. It's the last moment. No, it takes a little time. I mean, you had a few months to prevent them from doing it and to just decimate these industries and perhaps achieve this transitional government in Iran. So you'd sit back and you say, well, it's not going to happen in the next Thursday, so let's not act. I tell you that there's enormous risk in not acting, much greater risk.
Okay, here's another missile warning for me here. Another missile threat. Alerts now expected in a few minutes. find the best protection around. And I'm close to my bomb shelter. And this is the pre-warning. A lot of times it gets shot down, but if I hear the sirens, I'll run out of studio and go down to the bomb shelter. Okay. So I'm just telling you what's happening here. That's the way it is. Okay. Bad guys are shooting at us. We're using amazing technology and God's protection to shoot what they're shooting at us down. That's the reality. This is my reality. Okay. This is my reality. This is my emergency warning. That's what happens. So that's part we're fighting.
How
Yeah.
often does this happen?
It depends. Middle of the night. Basically, you could expect at least once a day where we live in which is in Judea, close to Jerusalem. But down in the Tel Aviv area, it's much more often because they're much more targeted because there's a lot less Arabs there, Muslims there, a lot less, and also a lot more Jewish population. So they aim their missiles for over there. So that's the reality. And if I hear a siren, which could come, then I'll have to leave and you'll take over. Okay, back to the prime minister.
Enacted. And if you think that the oil markets are in trouble today, think of Iran with nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. Then think of the blackmail that you would endure.
I didn't exactly ask, however.
Okay, we're going to go to the next question.
No, I think it's only fair. This is a serious subject.
What is the question?
One question for,
Yeah, go ahead.
for outlet.
Go ahead.
We don't have a lot of time.
That's,
I don't, this is the war.
go ahead, ask.
Of course, but you have
There are,
colleagues that
oil,
want to ask questions.
there are oil fields around the world that are burning. Gas prices are going up. The war is popular here in Israel, is not popular with many Americans. My question was, how do you see this ending? Not why, not even when. What do you imagine the day after?
Well, we have achievable goals, and I'm not going to speak about the full battle plans that we have with the United States. We're well coordinated with them. I will say this, that once we achieve our goals, then I have argued, I think, and Americans understand this very well because we're real partners. I think that what has to be done is to have alternative routes. Instead of going through the choke points of the Hormuz Straits and the Bab el-Mandeb Straits, in order to have the flow of oil, just have oil pipelines, gas pipelines, going west through the Arabian Peninsula, right up to Israel, right up to our Mediterranean ports, and you've just done away with the choke points for forever. That is definitely possible. So I see that as a real change that will follow this war. But I also see this war ending.
We have to stop right there for a second. That was a boom moment. Boom. Okay, what you just heard now, forget about announcements of the Abraham Accords and all that kind of stuff. What Prime Minister Netanyahu just let us know is that in the works are pipelines that are going to bring oil and natural gas from liquefied natural gas from the Persian Gulf through the Arabian Peninsula, either then meet the port city of Eilat or Aqaba. Yes, Jordan, not Jordan, bypass Jordan. Not sure what he was hinting to, but the bottom line is, and then right there's a small point between the Israeli border with the Red Sea and Israel's border with the Mediterranean. It's a short pipeline away. So what he's telling you is this whole business of the way the world runs oil and gas, it's got to be changed, and it's got to go through pipelines. And that's why we need an Abraham Accords for the sake of the world and for the sake of cheap and useful energy. Okay. Create those pipelines, no more boats, shipping it all the way around and trying to get up through the Suez and all that business and go through two dangerous straits, the Hormuz Straits controlled by Iran and the Straits of Tiran controlled by Iran again through their proxy, the Houthis. Boom. Okay. You just heard a real piece of news. All right. There is an alternative oil system being contemplated, oil and gas, and that is exciting and will, of course, be a blessing to the world and a benefit to Israel as well.
A lot faster than people think. I think you have to, in war, you have to grit your teeth. Churchill said that democracies suffer from the slumber of democracies, as he called it. And they only wake up, he said, they may wake up only when they hear the gong, the jarring gong of danger, is the way he put it. Well, you're hearing the jarring gong of danger. The jarring gong of danger is Iran gets nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. That's not a jarring gong. That is an apocalypse. Don't let it happen. And the function of leaders is to stand and tell people the truth, even when things are uncomfortable. That's what you have to do. And you don't always see the danger in time. But leaders are tasked with the task of seeing danger in time and acting on it. And I hope that in time, people will see the wisdom and the courage of President Trump's decision and his leadership, and the fact that we're working together. America is not fighting for Israel. America is fighting with Israel for a common goal, to protect our future, to protect civilization against these barbarians.
You see that the topic again and again of who is leading this war, and I see that he senses that it is a danger to this war, this claim that Israel is leading the war, and that is what's happening in anti-Israel and anti-Trump efforts in the United States and around the world to try to create this narrative that Israel somehow has, manhandled the United States and it's controlling and puppeteering the United States. That is a dangerous narrative that's out there. If you believe in fighting the lies against Israel and against the good energies in this world, like President Trump and others, and this just war, please support us. Check out these super chats that we had on the show today. Okay, super chats of people that understand how important our work is, and we so thank you very much. And I want to encourage everybody to super chat out there because it makes a tremendous difference for us, as well as joining us for our big projects to restore the land of Israel, because we are restorationists. We're rebuilding the land of Israel, and we could build the land of Israel together through buildisrael.com. Please join me. And of course, you can like, subscribe, and comment to my channel, which is really my channel. It's really my team's channel. And we try to make it Hashem's channel, God's channel. And I want to also suggest that you check out Yishai TV for all of our content. Thank you so much. And if you could just like, comment, and subscribe, but especially like right now, it helps us with that great, what do you call it? Extreme close-up here. It helps us with that great big challenge, which is the challenge of the algorithm. So please support us in our challenge to penetrate the feed of so many people around the world. Just by liking, you can actually contribute to this important battle to get into people's minds. Isn't that easy? Isn't that awesome? I'm giving you a chance to do something great. Just by hitting like, you're already going to send it to more people, because the algorithm is one of the challenges that we have out there. All right, back to the prime minister as he makes this epic speech explaining the war, the goals, and the challenges of the anti-Israel narrative out there.
Next question, one question, Guy Azriel from I-24 News.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Guy Azriel, I-24 News. President Trump said today he did not like the Israeli strike on the Iranian gas fields. My question to you, was the president aware of Israel striking that gas field? Did you approve it? And please, if you may, do you see any signs that the Iranian regime is collapsing? And what assurances do you give the Israeli public that if it does stand on its feet, we will not see another wave of a war with Iran in maybe 5 or 10 years?
Well, I'll say two things. Fact number one, Israel acted alone against the Slawiya gas compound. Fact number two, President Trump asked us to hold off on future attacks, and we're holding out. What do we see? What happens if are there any signs that the Iranian regime is cracking? A lot of signs. A lot of signs. I wish I could divulge all of them, but I see that. But will I tell you, will I commit right now that it's going to collapse? I can tell you that we're working to create the conditions for it to collapse. But it may survive, it may not. If it survives, it'll be a lot weaker. There's no comparison. It'll be at its weakest point, shorn of industries that it built over decades, death industries, shorn of many other capabilities that they have, and equipped with the experience, with the knowledge that if they try it again, they'll be hit again even harder. I cannot tell you of the technological developments that we are engaged in to anticipate this and other possibilities. But Israel has shown that it can do wondrous things. And in partnership with our American allies, we can do amazing things, amazing things. As Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, said, these are the two most amazing air forces in the world. It's the two most amazing intelligence services in the world. It has the capabilities to confront these barbarians and to outstrip them, both in innovation and, when necessary, in lethality. It's directed, it's targeted lethality. It's going against the killers and as much as possible to avoid civilian casualties. We have those capacities. We're building them for the future. That is what safeguards the future. You know, if people want to be naive, that they don't see the kind of world we're living in. In this world, it's not enough to be moral. It's not enough to be just. It's not enough to be right, you know? One of the greatest writers of the 20th century, someone that I admire a lot, was the historian Will Durant. Now, he wrote many volumes. I read most of them. He also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking on a lot of fake news, but also a lot of short-sightedness, and do not see the historic period and the historic struggle that we are engaged in now, doesn't obviate these truths. We have to be strong. We have to be armed. We have to be more powerful than the barbarians, or they will not be merely at the gate. They'll crash our gates and destroy our societies. That's what Israel is doing now with the United States. And I'm very proud of the fact that the Israeli people are standing strong, that the Israeli army is standing strong. We rose from October 7th. Our people, our soldiers, rose like lions. But in protecting ourselves and in joining with our great American friends, we're also protecting the entire world.
Thank you. Next question, Tom Burridge from
I want to just comment on some of those things, which is that last part that he said that Israel's protecting the entire world. I have a term for that. I call that liberation nation. And that's the term that I use to explain what this idea that when Israel liberates itself, it actually liberates the world. And I came up with a new parable, which I'm very proud of. Hashem put it in my head. And that idea is that just like Moses was reticent to go down to Egypt and liberate his brothers and sisters, so too is Israel sometimes reticent to liberate the rest of the world. But that's our job. Our job is to liberate the nations around us from the yoke of slavery, of various kinds of slavery, and that's what's happening right now. The prime minister is trying. I don't know if he's doing successfully to be like, listen, this is a big moment. This is a big war. This is a dramatic thing. It's not just about me. It's not about President Trump. It's not about midterms. And it's not about elections. It's about a moment to the opportunity to destroy evil. And I also think, and he's not saying this, it is also a repudiation of the idea that Israel should have a small army and a technological army. Here goes my alarm again. Okay. This because rockets are being trained at us by this enemy that if it was stronger, if this enemy was stronger, they would nuke us in just a second. All right. So I'm saying that there's a repudiation of the left ideas of a small Israeli army. No, it's obvious. We need a big, strong army to fight enemies and to lead the fight against darkness in this world. Let's get back to the Prime Minister.
ABC News.
Hi, Tom Sufi Burridge, ABC News. Prime Minister, given the escalation of attacks on US allies across the Gulf, given the spiraling energy costs, the high costs in general, the US service personnel killed in this war, many Americans are asking that question, whether you misled their government into starting this war, and for how long should Americans keep paying the price?
Well, I misled no one, and I didn't have to convince President Trump about the need to prevent Iran from developing its nuclear program, putting it underground, and being able to launch nuclear-tipped missiles at the United States. He understood that. He explained it to me. I didn't explain it to him. And I think that our partnership is the only way to avoid this catastrophic development. The loss of servicemen is painful. Early on in my military service, a fellow soldier died in my arms. I lost a brother who fought terrorists, led the historic Entebbe rescue. The cost to bereaved families is enormous, and I sympathize and send the condolences of the people of Israel to these families and to the American people. Freedom is precious. It has its costs. But if you're not prepared to defend it, if you're not prepared to resist the tyrannies that are trying to arm themselves with the weapons of mass death, you will have no future. And therefore, we're doing what we can. As far as oil prices rising, spikes, you know what a spike is? You know what a spike is? It goes up and goes down. The Americans are working very hard, and we're trying to help them in every way that we can, to open the straits of Hormuz. And if they succeed, which I think they will, then oil prices will come down. But if you say, all right, I'm suffering right now, and people are, then I shouldn't do anything. I should just succumb to the blackmail, let Iran get on with it, let them develop nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles to deliver them to New York and Los Angeles. You're going to be blackmailed in ways that you can't even imagine. I think what this war has done is unmask what Iran is. You know, we've said for years, look at these people. They're doing things that normal regimes do not do. I don't hear even adversaries of the United States chanting death to America, death to the great Satan, massacring tens of thousands of their own people at will like that in 2 days. You have that sometimes. But the combination of fanaticism, deep ideological lunacy, there's no other way to call it, the total and utter ruthlessness of this regime makes it uniquely dangerous. Uniquely dangerous not only to Israel and to the United States, but to everything in between and far beyond. And the fact that this is not recognized, you ask me, okay, what do people think? What did they think in the 30s? What did they think in the 30s when you had a terrible, ruthless, killer regime led by a lunatic that took one country after the other, did it very sequentially? What did they say? They said what? They said, let's stay out of this. It's not our war. It's not our problem. Maybe it's only the Jews. Have we learned nothing, absolutely nothing in these 80 years? We cannot see the danger that lurks. It doesn't lurk. It's risen from the mud. It's right in our face. It's splattering blood right at us. I can't believe that we're clueless. We're not clueless. I talk to many American friends. They're not clueless. They understand this. Some don't. Some are adamantly opposed, but many are adopting a wait-and-see attitude. But I can tell you that I've spoken, as I said a minute ago, I've spoken to many, many leaders. We're talking about dozens and dozens of leaders. And they all say the same thing. I understand it. Some of them come out and say it. They're bold. And some of them say, you know, I don't know, you know, I wish I understand it, but some of my people don't, or my news media are against me and so on. I was glad to see in the United States that an enormous enormous percentage of President Trump's supporters, traditional supporters, understand it. And I hope that my friends and colleagues of many years on the other side of the aisle, those who understand and agree with what I just said, and there are quite a few of them, have the courage to come out and say it. Because at the end, what is the task of leaders if you're a leader? The most important thing is to assure the security of your people. And that means identifying danger in time.
Did you hear that big boom just now? Just there was a giant boom outside my window, and that is the kind of booms that we are facing. We face it every day, and that was a Iranian rocket that just exploded right over there by missile defense. That just happened right now. That is a constant thing. It was like a big boom. We've had bigger booms. There was just a big boom just now. That's just part of it. That's just the way we're living. And if those missiles were nuclear tipped, well, forget about it. There wouldn't be any more Yishai TV. That's for sure. Okay. And there wouldn't be any Build Israel if the bad guys had nukes. So this war is just and important. And it also is beautiful because Israel is rising to the position that it needs to be, which is a position of leadership, of encouraging courage. That's one of my mottos, encouraging courage. And that's what Israel is doing. And the prime minister is trying to explain that. The only thing that the prime minister should explain even more always is that Hashem is giving us knowledge and Hashem is giving us strength. God Almighty is with us. And it is indeed through the F-35s and through the technology and through the intelligence that God operates to give Israel strength, through a state economy, through the physical building of Jerusalem. That is the revelation of God's face in this world. Prime Minister Netanyahu, a few more minutes, just finish up this very, very important, one of his most important press conferences. And certainly this is an international English language press conference. He spoke for 8 minutes, but it was really a message to the world. That's what this thing is about.
And acting against it. That is a prerequisite for the survival of any biological organism. You have to identify danger in time and act in time against it. You either fight or flight. These are the two options you have. Where can you flee? Nowhere, because Iran can reach any part of the world. So you have to, at a certain point, fight. And this is the juncture where we've reached in time. Not too late, but in time. I just will encourage all those who agree with what President Trump is saying, with what I'm saying too, act. I didn't have to convince President Trump of anything. He didn't need any convincing. He acted as a great leader does to protect his country and to protect the future.
Thank you. Next question. Alex Trayman from JNS.
Okay, my good friend, Alex Trayman, a friend of mine for many, many years. He was at this press conference. Let's see what he asks. He is the bureau chief of the great JNS News Network.
It's right behind you, yes.
Mr. Prime Minister, Hezbollah has opened up another front against Israel, launching rockets against Israeli civilians. Now ground troops are inside Lebanon. Is there any hesitancy toward launching a full ground operation to eradicate Hezbollah? And what would eradicating Hezbollah do to transform Israel-Lebanon relations and the greater Middle East?
Look, Alex, I can't divulge our battle plans. Obviously, Hezbollah is not what Hezbollah had been. I said in my opening remarks in Hebrew that they were talking about 150,000 rockets and missiles that they had, ballistic missiles. They had thousands of Ridwan terrorists right next to our fence underground, ready to invade. We knocked them back. We destroyed the bulk of their missile capacity in 6 hours. We knocked out Nasrallah. We destroyed all the Hamas, or rather all the Ridwan infrastructure right next to our border. We now have a security corridor, a security zone that is there that prevents this kind of invasion. And we have plans for the future. Obviously, our number one effort is geared towards Iran. If the regime goes, you know that Hezbollah goes. But in any case, we're devising our plans in such a way that we could remove this threat as well.
Okay, so there was that was a discussion about Hezbollah and about some kind of security buffer zone into Lebanon, and he didn't answer the question about how Lebanon would change inside. But there's also great hope for, just like Syria had a changeover, not necessarily totally better. We still have jihadis in control of Syria, but Lebanon's got much better potential there. And to see that country that is traditionally friendly with Israel getting rid of the yoke of terrorism from their necks would be amazing. I want to thank also Rich the Busk. I'm thankful that our sovereign God has paired us with Israel in this righteous war on evil. Thank you, Rich, and may you be blessed. And thank you for sending us blessings here in the land of Israel, under fire and fighting back, and with the Lord who's given us the sword to fight his enemies and to build Jerusalem. My producer, Yo, writes, folks, in the description, I put the links for the full English or full Hebrew press conference videos, and you can find them there. Great. We're not done. There's just a few more moments of Prime Minister Netanyahu giving an absolutely a pillar central news conference, clearly speaking to the international community. That's you. You're supposed to be seeing this news conference, and that's why you're with me live here at Yishai TV. Thank you so much. I am it's almost like the Prime Minister asked me to rebroadcast what he was saying. It's almost like that. I don't need a personal phone call. I understood that this press conference has to get out to the world, and that's why we're up here late night in Israel. Yes, I am tired. It's not 1 a.m. It's 12:14. I am tired. It's been a long week, but we got to broadcast these powerful truths. Speaking of powerful truths, the Prime Minister actually had a line in Hebrew when he gave the Hebrew press conference at the beginning of this thing, and he quoted the book of Joshua, and he says, just be strong and unafraid. And he gave us like a quote from the book of Joshua. I'm not sure he did that in English, but the point is he quoted the Bible, and he gave us a call for strength from a biblical source as well. Back to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Question from CNN.
CNN, nice to see you. You've assassinated Iran's supreme leader and dozens of other senior Iranian officials. The result of that so far has been the appointment of a new supreme leader considered to be even more hardline than his father. The Iranian regime is not showing any signs of collapse as of now. So I wonder, what do you say to those who say that killing those individuals is in fact empowering the hardliners in Iran? And are you confident that your strategy will still lead to regime change? And then secondly, if I may, you've also indicated today that you made a commitment to President Trump not to strike these oil and gas facilities in the future. Should President Trump come to you one day and say, oil prices are too high, it's time to end this war, will you listen to him? And do you need the United States in order to continue this campaign alone?
Was that a single question? Jeremy really hogged it, but I'll answer your questions. I'm not sure who's running Iran right now. Mujtaba, the replacement Ayatollah, has not shown his face. Have you seen him? We haven't. And we can't vouch exactly what is happening there. There is a cloud here that's not clear. What we see is that there's a lot of tensions inside the people who are edging for the top. It's not a uniform position. You see that sometimes with the contradictory orders that are given. You know, they do one thing and then they withdraw it and so on. I think it's important that they know that if they think they're going to target the world, target the President of the United States and so on, they themselves are being targeted. That creates a lot of uncertainty. We've found that that can have an effect. The removal of Nasrallah has never been really been replaced, because some people are not replaceable. I think the authority and the hold that Khamenei has had is not going to be translated to anyone, not to Mujtaba if he's there, and not to anyone else. But I think this is part of the effort to crack the regime. It's not going to happen in one day. We're 20 days into this war. Yes, we're seeing cracks. We're seeing cracks, and we're trying to propagate them as fast as we can. Not only in the top command, we're seeing cracks in the field. It's sort of like a hollowed out, rotten piece of wood that's holding on the outside, but there's a lot of rot inside. We're seeing some defections. We're seeing fear and trepidation in the IRGC units that are manning the ballistic missiles. You know why? Because they're afraid to die. They're not all suicidal. In fact, most of them are not. So we're seeing cracks, but we're going to hit them again and again. The minimum thing we want to do is, again, erase the industrial capacity that they had to produce these weapons. They'll have to build it from a start, and that's very hard. It's very hard to do underground, too. So they're not going to be able to just take the pieces and move them below the earth. It's going to be a lot harder for them. But ideally, if it cracks enough, and with some other things that I won't get into, yes, the regime could change. Is it guaranteed? No. And is it up to the Iranian people in the final accounting to make use of the conditions that we're doing in weakening this regime? We'll see. I cannot tell you. They're very brave, by the way. I don't come and criticize them in any way. I think they're very brave. I think they've suffered enormously. And the question is, will we have a meeting ground between the weakening of the regime and the rising of the people in many ways that could develop? We'll see. On the oil and gas...
And I think that there's one more option that the prime minister, for some reason, is not speaking about, which is it may take a few years. Sometimes when a regime is undermined, okay, it's not going to flip like some kind of button, but it's no longer, as he pointed out, it's no longer the strength that it had beforehand. And so with time, it will erode and go away. It might not be exactly like a button switch right now, but it's no longer that thing. It's no longer that thing that it was. And with time, it'll just be replaced. So I think we're doing the work right now. It's very important. Robert sends in a super chat. Thank you so much. He writes, our forefathers had to make sacrifices for the freedoms we enjoy today. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say one more thing. Just one second, I just want to say one more thing, which is having battle-ready, battle-hardened troops that have fought is actually a very important thing. You're in much better shape when your army is a trained army that has real battle experience. And that's important for America, important for Israel as well. Go ahead, Yo. What's up?
Well, it's so funny because I was going to say the same thing because my son is out there on the front line with his friends in Gaza and Lebanon and the plains. And, they are, whether they're Israelis or people who came from overseas to volunteer, Jews who want to be part of the IDF, it's just an incredible force. It's a force of bravery, a force of not giving up. And when you see Israelis who are, for some reason, stuck in other countries, they insist to be rescued back into the war zone. They get rescue flights to come home and be on the line in the war. And it's just an honor to be part of that story, part of the Jewish story and the story of Israel.
Amen. And the story of the return of the ability of getting strength back into our arms and into our bodies and into the state body. And with that, to channel God's presence. It's an amazing, it's an amazing to balance, to feel that dialectic within our life. And thank you very much to Yo's son for his service. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing him this Shabbat as well. Let's get back to the prime minister and let him finish off. We're just about to finish this part.
Questions. I can only tell you this. Look, I don't think any two leaders have been as...
Look at this. Somebody wrote pointless war. This war is anything but pointless. Getting rid of jihadism, pushing back the slavery that this brings to our region, pushing back on their potential nuclear weapons or other weapons. This is a righteous war. That's right. Very good. Matthew, thank you very much. I like that phraseology, a righteous war.
Coordinated as President Trump and I. He's the leader. I'm, his ally. America is the leader. Israel is, as the National Security Memorandum described us, I think a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I think, something like that. They called Israel the model ally. That's how they call it, the model ally. It's not a superpower, but America is seeking around the world, and you hear it from the speeches of President Trump and others in the administration. They say, where are you? We've helped you all these years. Where are you when we're doing something that is as important, at least as important for you as it is important for us? And yet one country is there, and against all the vilifications that are leveled at Israel, Israel is sponging off America and all that. No, it's not. It's not. Israel is a brave country, a resolute country with an incredible army, incredible soldiers, incredible courage, and we're fighting alongside the United States when the chips are down. We're fighting with the United States. We're fighting for a common goal. So I can tell you that that's the most important coordination. But in practice, President Trump and I speak regularly. We discuss things, our staffs discuss things, our militaries are in close coordination as never before. But ultimately, President Trump makes his own decisions. And do I respect them? Yes, I do.
The question is whether you would or could continue the war without...
Just one question, Jeremy. Thank you.
Could you without the United States? Without the refueling capabilities, for example?
We're going to close. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
You
Thank
exhausted
you,
your
everyone,
questions.
for your questions today.
Okay, there's the Prime Minister finishing off. He did a great job there, and you could see that he's...
Thank you, everyone.
תושבי הצפון הם גיבורים.
And now he's talking actually about the, just for a second, he's answering a question in Hebrew, and he says the people living in the north who are under fire are heroes.
תושבי הצפון עומדים כרגע במעמסה הקשה. כל אזרחי ישראל עומדים במעמסה.
They are standing, they're carrying a heavy load, a heavy weight, the challenges that they face.
קשה. אבל הם עומדים במעמסה קשה במיוחד, משום שזמן
We're all under a heavy weight, but they in the north have a specifically special heavy weight
שלהם הוא הכי קצר.
because the range between the missiles that they face and impact is the shortest in the country because they face missiles from Hezbollah.
ואנחנו מתכוונים לעזור להם בכל דרך, אבל בסוף
And we are poised to help them in every way.
העזרה הכי גדולה זה להרחיק ולהסיר את האיום. ואנחנו
And the best thing that we could do is to push back the danger and to get rid of the danger. He means to say get rid of Hezbollah from southern Lebanon. That is how he's answering this, that we're going to push back.
לא נוותר על זה.
And we're not going to give up on that.
Thank you so much.
ואנחנו לא
We're
נוותר
going to
על
be
זה.
concluding now.
תודה רבה
Thank you,
לכם.
Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you.
Okay. So that was an amazing news conference. I want to say that I think the big stuff is, number one, a potential oil pipeline through Saudi Arabia to Israel to the Mediterranean. That's headline number one. Headline number two, we're going to push back in Lebanon. We're going to push Hezbollah back. We're going to either destroy them or push them back. We're not going to have that threat anymore. This is our opportunity to fight them fully. And then number three, Netanyahu is like, Israel is not dragging America into the war. America knows exactly what this evil empire is doing. And as we say in Hebrew, Higiu mayim ad nafesh, water has come to our noses, and it's time to fight. And it's time to get rid of this global threat on energy, global threat against U.S. allies. Don't forget that global shipping was basically choked, not because of Iran, but because of their allies, the Houthis, in the Straits of Tehran leading up to the Suez Canal. So we all know who this danger is. And don't forget that the Iranian mullah regime tried to assassinate President Trump twice. So he knows perfectly well on his own flesh what the dangers of this evil regime is. All right. I wanted to send you blessings from the land of blessings and remind you that we're here for you at Yishai.tv on the internet and Yishai Fleischer TV on YouTube. Very easy to remember. And I invite you to build Israel together with me and we are building Israel. We're restoring Israel, and you are part of it. So please go to buildisrael.com, and together we could be builders of Israel. Isn't that awesome? You can also support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and be part of it. Be part of the story. And don't forget to talk about Israel at the water cooler. Don't forget to stand with the God of Israel. Don't forget that we are in the process of making God great again. Go ahead, Yo. What
I
you
just
got?
want to say that we agree to agree here, and it's a great community we're building, and it's great to see everybody.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And indeed, we have a very lively chat. That's what this beautiful technology is. And I just want to thank God Almighty for the ability to broadcast this great man, the Prime Minister of Israel, who I have many disagreements with and many critiques of, but he's also a great man in a great time and a great opportunity. So it's a pleasure to do that. But please also see through the strength of Israel, the God of Israel, right? Here on this channel, we will not be satisfied with the idea that the strength of Israel is what it's all about. The strength of Israel at the end, the cranes of Israel, the babies of Israel, the Torah of Israel, the Jerusalem of Israel at the end is a vehicle to express the revelation of the God of Israel. All right, folks, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Come on, let's wish each other Shabbat Shalom, Jew and non-Jew alike. Come on, everybody say Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov. Happy Sabbath, happy upcoming Sabbath, and also a happy new month of Nissan, a month of Revelation. Come on, let's bless each other with those simple blessings. Let's just say Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov and Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov and bless each other. Bless each other for health and success. Bless our soldiers. Heal all those who have been hurt. Send strength to the nations that are suffering right now and the nations that are fighting right now. Send strength to the American army and to the Israeli army and to the leadership. We don't pray enough for the good leadership out there. Shabbat Shalom, folks, wherever you are. Stay tuned, stay strong, stay connected, stay part of the story. Lots of love and lots of blessings from the land of blessings. And keep being strong and channeling God's face. And shalom.